In today's episode of the Hexagon Challenge, it's the Coup de France final. We're taking on Lyon. Can we go back-to-back as a manager and make it 3 in a row for the club? Let's find out. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. If you're looking forward to today's video, then please do leave a thumbs up down below. And if you're enjoying the content here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on so you guys are informed when a new video does drop on the channel. So, in yesterday's episode, our Europa League journey unfortunately ended. If you haven't watched the episode, I'll leave a link in the top right corner, but we lost to Inter Milan. We drew the game overall 1-1, but the fact that they scored an away goal meant that they did go through, which was a little bit unfortunate, and we've kind of ruled ourselves out of Liga title contention. We'll bring that up shortly. I know I said I probably wasn't going to show the highlights of these games, but the form's been pretty good out of them. We've won both of the Liga games since you were last here. PSG did drop points in one game that they've played since then as well, so it's still unlikely. We will show you guys the highlights from the Sochaux-Montpellier game, which we won 4-1 away off the back of a 4-0 win against Saint-Etienne. I put out the rotated squad for both of these games, just trying to keep the first team fresh for this Lyon game, as it's our most important of the rest of the season. In my mind it was anyway. In the first game it was a double to both Quintero and Garrity, and would you believe in the second game it was the same, but some of these goals from Quintero in particular were superb to watch. Here's his first one in the 16th minute. This is one of the cheekiest goals I've seen in FM this year, like a very deep chip over the goalkeeper, and he pulled it off. Wonderful stuff. And he also pulled off another chip in the 86th minute with Stamenik playing a very nice long ball to put him in very late in the game and just dinking that over a keeper on the ground. So he got 2 chips in this game. He is absolutely on fire, the Next Gen Award winner. And because of that, I've made an interesting decision going into today's game. We'll reveal what team we're going to put out now. He's starting ahead of Flavio Henrique. Now that's probably a little bit controversial. We could have, of course, put Henrique on the left wing, but Fernandes is better suited there. A lot of these players are very fresh. Quintero is the player who's had the most recent football under him. He's just in such good form. You compare him and Henrique's recent form, 7.46, 6.8. It's a decent difference. And his actual average rating for the season is getting above Henrique as well. So I felt like it was worth the punt. What we might be able to do, as I said, is bring Henrique on as a winger for Fernandes at some stage during this game. But I feel it's worth the risk. The board expected us to get to the final, so we've done that. We'd like to win this. It's our only chance at a trophy now for this season against a team who we have been doing well against so far in the save against Lyon. But I just think Quintero is the man in form, so we're going to go with him for this game. Otherwise, we're full strength, except Sevillano is starting at right back because Paul Tessier is still out with an injury. You can see he's got about a week left to go and he's not quite right. Neither is Callum Hudson-Odoi, but that injury not as notable, I would argue. What that means is that Pascal Angelini keeps his place on the bench. So that is our lineup. What we'll do is we'll come back for the TV coverage, possibly our last important game of the season, although we will quickly have a look at the Liga table, because with those results and the PSG just dropping points in their last couple, we're now only 5 points behind them, albeit they have a game in hand, so they could get back out to 8 with 4 games to go. So it's still incredibly unlikely that we're going to catch them. But we are, without a shadow of a doubt, now locked in for Champions League football and entering the group stage next season, which is a nice place to be. So now that we've got that out of the way, we'll be back going through and looking at Lyon's team before we get into the Coup de France final. Can we win the one trophy available to us this season? So this is a neutral venue, but the Lyon are the first team up. They've got some good players here. Shaun in particular, a very promising winger, a player that we might be looking at, although we're pretty well covered in terms of wingers. It's something that we'll have to go over in tomorrow's episode, maybe areas that we can strengthen. I've got one in mind already and a potential signing there but we are in the away uniform because we're the away team drawn as this, so we are in the blue and the yellow. Lyon are in their all white, and they will be kicking off playing right to left. Malang Sarr on the ball early, Ravella, there's some of the more other notable players, but we turn the ball over early. Hopefully we can get this trophy in the bag and make it 2 years in a row as a manager and 3 in a row at the club, but it's still 0-0 in the 8th minute, although Lyon do have a highlight. Halit gets the ball, puts the ball in. Agume hitting that clear after, I believe that was Nianzou got on the end of it, and now Quintero, he makes his way towards the final third. Dembele in a lovely spot. Oh, it's a decent chance early, but we can't hit the target. 0-0 after 10 minutes. Throw into Monaco coming up towards the 15-minute mark. Fernandez receives that ball from Mulder. He tries to put one in. It looked like it was deflected, but either way, Lyon have got possession. And they again try and find Chauvin, but Mulder cuts that out nicely, and this time is able to keep position for us. And hopefully we can start this game off well. We're playing a manager who I do not like. He's a bit of a knobhead, and we've had a pretty good record against him so far, so hopefully that continues. Gabriel Fernandez getting a shot off there, but it's blocked. He tries to find a Agume, but can't. Still 0-0 as we get into the 20th minute. Throw into Lyon, 38th minute. A very quiet game this is so far. Paqueta, Harry put it to, but then he gave the ball away, so we get possession back, and hopefully we can strike before half-time. And now Puig is on the ball for us, finding Gabriel Fernandez. Quintero, there's a lot of space out on the left. He finds it in Mulder. He puts a ball in. Quintero heads it, but it's wide. Good chance for us there, but it remains 0-0 coming towards half-time. And that's half-time, and that was pretty blimmin' boring, it has to be said. We've got some players now already thinking about taking off here too. We've had all the chances, 4 shots, but none on target. Some players on 6.4s, and one of them's on a yellow card, so he is going to be coming off. That is Nianzou. He will come off. We're going to bring Kamara on, and we'll bring Sevillano back and switch him and Tapsoba around. So that will be the first change. Probably a bit more natural for those guys. And also Gabriel Fernandez not playing well. We'll make that change we talked about at the start of the game. Flavio Henri to come on, and hopefully we can get something going, because that first half was pretty dire, it has to be said. I'll tell the boys we're not happy with how we performed, because pretty average, even though we did dominate the actual game. We just didn't get a shot on target, and we need that to happen. Only one change left for the remaining 45 minutes, but hopefully we can get something going, as it's 0-0 as we get into the second half. Early free kick to Lyon, but they've given the ball straight to Flavio Henrique, fresh off the bench. He tries to find Quintero, back to Agume. Possibly should have kept going himself there, Quintero. It's blasted wide, still 0-0 early in the second half, but we have a free kick not long after that. Agume to put this in. It's going towards far post. It's headed over the bar, although it's a corner, so it was from a Lyon defender. Coming up to the 50-minute mark, Tapsoba gets his head to it just over the bar. That's probably our best chance of the game so far. Still 0-0 though. Lyon with a throw in the second half, a lot more going on than the first. Miranda found Paqueta, they put a ball in. It's a good chance there for Budgie. All the chances so far coming from headers, but they're all going over and wide. 0-0 with 55 gone. Okay, we're in the 75th minute here, and this game has been an absolute waste of time, to be honest. It's been awful. I think we're going to take Ousmane Dembele off, because Amin Ghali is also in a decent patch of form. So what we're going to do is switch him and Henrique, and hopefully we can just get something going, because this has been really poor so far. We'll confirm changes before he plays, Shaun. 0-0 as we come up to 80 minutes, but this could be going to extra time and penalties. It's been really bad, although we do now have a free kick that Puig tries to put on target himself. Yeah, that's not going to work. Still 0-0 coming into the last 10 minutes. Throw in at the 88-minute mark, and Mulder does find Amin Ghali, and we will keep possession despite that Zifuik tackle. Oh, that's from behind. That could be a penalty. No, it's a corner. Oh, boy. It was from behind. That's an interesting non-penalty. We do have a corner. It is headed clear by Dennis, and now Puig gets on the end of it. This game, rather dull, I'm afraid, but we're starting to get some stuff going, hopefully, although that highlight ends. And now it might be Lyon. A lot of our players, too, on red hearts, which, considering these guys haven't played for a week, is a bit surprising. Good chance here for Badgie, and somehow Goron keeps that out. I think that was off his hand and the goal post at the same time. It was very messy, and we nearly give the ball away there too, although Puig ends up with it. And maybe we can create a chance in these last 2 minutes before the referee blows the whistle. Ghali making his way forward. The ball taken off him. For some reason, our players run away from the ball, and it's a lay for Lyon. He tries to get a late chance for them. Good tackle from Puig. Now Kamara, who came off the bench carrying a little bit of an injury. Quintero heads that back for Puig. Can we strike late? And it would be decisive as well. Ricky Puig. Back to Kamara. Back to Puig. He loses the ball though. Pedro back to Alai. This is a good chance on the counter for Lyon. Although our defenders start to catch up. Sevillano get back to it. Someone before Budgie. They haven't. It will go out for a corner. Can't shout at them. That's annoying. And hopefully we can keep this out before we go to penalties or extra time. I actually don't know what happens in the Coup de France final because we managed to win it last year. That's a good turnover from Enrique, although Gary just boots it out. Or towards out anyway. Zifweek does keep it in. Squares it up. Dennis, Sa. So they will keep the ball in play. They find Singiz Unda, who's been very quiet today, although so is everyone really. We block the ball. We're past referee's time, it's fair to say. Mulder, he puts a pass in for Galdi. He keeps going, but he loses possession. It feels like this is going to get blown up very shortly. Alai, though, is on the run for Lyon. This is all happening late. All of a sudden, all the chances coming. Budgie running down the right. We're 24 seconds over time. Galdi to cut that out. Miranda's going to tidy things up. Referee, what are you doing? It's all over for now. And we will be playing extra time. Okay, we've got some very tired legs. That's a bit of an issue now, I'm not going to lie. I'll tell the boys I'm not happy, and we'll give them a bit of a, we know you're capable of making the difference as well, but this has been really poor. Maybe I should have just stuck with this first team, or even more so, just left the rotated team out there, because they've been playing really well. Our boys are all over the shop here, it feels like. Now, I don't think we have an extra substitution. I might check that at some stage, maybe take Ampadu off. He's the one on the lowest rating. But we are playing left to right in this first half of extra time. As long as we can keep a clean sheet, we'll have a chance, I suppose. I'd rather win it than take it to penalties. But at the moment, neither team really doing much, although I'll probably say that and Lyon will score. A lie in the box. Gorlon saving that with his knees. That was pretty questionable from Goron, but we'll take it. It keeps it at 0-0. Lyon have started this extra time off well. Taps over, heads that ball away, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to get on the end of it, so Lyon do keep possession, at least for now. That's a pretty cynical foul, and they will have the free kick. Oh boy, Unda. Goron punches it clear, and luckily it's fallen to Flavio Henrique, and we might have a chance here. It's a nice tackle though from Unda, and Miranda's going to get on the end of this, and they play it back to the keeper, Kanishi. He boots one long. Hopefully we can win the ball. Mulder, he'll find Quintero. This is a good chance, although he might be a bit tired. Indeed he is. Sa boots that out for a corner. And after what was a pretty dull first 80 minutes, since then it's been all action. Taps over, will try and get his head onto this. Can't. Puig to cover. Tried to play that to Enrique, but he was offside. And it will remain 0-0 as we are into this first half of extra time. Now in the 98th minute. Paqueta tries to cross one to Asunca, or does. Mulder will get that for us though, so can we get something going? Gaudi with some fresher legs than most on the field. Tries to slot Quintero through, he's past his defender, but he hits it straight at Kanishi. It will be a corner, and we just can't get anything on target meaningfully at the moment. Sevillano tried to get on the end of that, and it was a handball, so free kick to Lyon. And they'll show this as well, so they're starting to show a few highlights, and that's probably because they've given the ball straight to us. Enrique, can he play someone in? He gets his body in a tangle with Quintero there, but luckily we do keep possession. Now Ampadu, back to Sevillano, over to Enrique. He does his man very nicely there. It's a tough angle for a shot, but it forces a good save out of Kanishi. Probably our best chance at the game, actually. But it remains 0-0. Corner, taps over, flicks it on. No one can get onto it. Dennis heads it out to Kamara, who's struggling, I think it's fair to say. Now, I'll just check if we can make a sub. And we can. And this is interesting because I'm just wondering what we should do here. I'm going to bring Fernandez on for Kamara and switch Mulder to the right wing back spot because he's carrying an injury and hasn't actually played that well since he came on early doors. So, or at least at halftime, I should say. So, we'll do that. I think that's the only change we've got left. We'll make sure. But still 0-0 as we come up to halftime in the first half of extra time. And it is indeed no team talk, apparently. And we start the second half of extra time. And we kick off playing right to left. Not used to this extra time games, to be honest. So this is interesting. We've brought a fresh pair of legs on at left back. So maybe that might make the difference. But there's some very tired bodies out there now. Although I imagine that's the same for Lyon. as they try and put a ball in the box. Henri getting back to cover that, and now they try and get us on the other side. Olay plays that out to Miranda. He puts a ball in. Budgie with the header straight at Goron, luckily, and we hold on to the 0-0 draw and play out from the back. They are pressing quite high. I was just thinking maybe we need to get in behind them and that would do something, but it's still 0-0 and nothing's happening. Do we have a sub left? No, we don't. Okay. There's no more subs left, so we can't even look at penalty takers. So we just really need to tell these boys, actually, that's something we can do. We can demand more. I haven't shouted at them since this extra time started. That's a bit silly from me. Hopefully that doesn't backfire and they score now because Lyon do have the ball, and although Mulder gets that after someone put a foot in, didn't come away with the ball, but allowed Mulder to. Now Garley gets on the end of this. Looks to play Quintero through. One-on-one with his man. Now is he going to play a teammate in? Tries to, but it goes out to Fernandez with some fresh legs. What can he do? Puts a ball in, doesn't find anyone. They clear it. It's out to Tapsoba. He will play it for Alvaro Fernandez. Garley will find Quintero. Oh, he was in a bit of space, but unfortunately tired legs. Fernandez in the box. What can he do? He's just inside. He tries to put a cross in. It's blocked though. Under boots it clear. We've got 2 minutes to do something before we go to penalties. And they will show the throw-in. Mulder. He's taking his time. I'm tempted to go attacking, but it's a tough one in a cup final. Mulder. Especially when you can get exposed at the other end. Ampadu tried to find. That would have been Henrique on the right wing. Can't. But Tapsoba cuts that out, and they were starting to get bodies forward. So maybe Garley now on the left wing. We've got 1 minute left. He tries to put a cross in. Blocked it again. Look, very good defensive efforts from both teams, I think it's fair to say at the moment. Pedro now running down the right wing. Ampadu turns the ball over. It's up to Garley. It feels like we might be going towards penalties, but he's going to try and put a ball in for one of the strikers up on the right-hand side, or Quintero up front. Somehow we haven't got the ball back there off Zeefuik. Under. Zeefuik puts a ball in. It is got out to Miranda somehow, and it looks like we are going to penalties all right. We've got 1 minute. We are over the minute. They will have a corner. We can't shout at them. Look at my boys. They are absolutely knackered, all bar Goulon and Fernandez. We hit it clear. Miranda's going to get to it, but the referee should probably be blowing his whistle. He does blow his whistle, and it's going to penalties. Look, it's a trophy we've already won, so hopefully the boys, with a lot of them having been here last season, remember that. So this is interesting. Garley Tapsoba's very good at penalties, but he's supposed to be, but I don't know about that. I think we'll leave things as they are. Henrique's a bit anxious, but we'll leave him in there. We'll just keep adding players because Ampadu can go 7th because he's got better composure. Then Sevillano. Then we've got Mulder's a bit more positive ahead of Alvaro. And of course, Goron will be 11th. Yeah, hopefully this goes well. We'll do the team talk. That's our order. It's pretty much down on penalty ratings. Tapsoba I'm a little bit cautious about here because he's not great at them, but we'll see how we get on. I'll just tell them to try and relax, and we'll talk to the anxious individuals. That's probably the best way we're going to go about this, which is Kamara, Henrique, and Fernandez. Penalties are a lottery. It's helped Henrique, and he's probably the one who's taking the penalty the earliest out of that lot. So let's get into it. And it is Garley, and we are first up. Can we start off well? I mean, Garley. Yes, he can. He buries it bottom left. The keeper went the right way too, so that's a good one to get in the back of the net. And hopefully Goron can come up big for us early here. Pedro for Lyon. Saved. Great start for Monaco in the penalty shootout. Albeit we had one of these when we first got to the club, I remember. And it wasn't the Coup de France last season. Tapsoba actually puts in the back of the net. Right, that was the one I was worrying about. We are 2-0 up. As I said, we had one of these in our first game in charge. In the first round, we entered the Coup de France last season. There's Paqueta. He puts us in the back of the net, but we're up 2-1, and we scraped by. We blew us some chances to win that penalty shootout, but got by after about 9 penalties. Hopefully this one isn't as long and goes in our favour as well. Ricky Puig bangs that in. Good penalties so far from us. And if we can make one more save, I'm backing us. Sendi's under. He puts it in the right corner, sends Gould the wrong way, and that is free too. If we can keep getting penalties though, we will win. Agume. Straight at Kaneshi, and all of a sudden it's 3-all, and we've blown that. When I say 3-all, depends if Budgie gets this in, but we've blown that advantage. Unless Goron can make a save here. And he does. What a save from Goron. And if we put this in the back of the net, we are going back-to-back in the Coup de France. Who is it? It's Quintero. Okay, he has been the form man for us over the past few games. Can he secure us our third Coup de France in a row at Monaco in terms of the club, and our second as a manager? Edwin Quintero, the Colombian wonder kid. He misses. Oh, God. Okay. If Goron saves this, we win. We're still in a decent position here, actually. But we've blown that, missing our last two penalties, and either one would have in the end secured us the win. A Sunkal. Can Goron pull off another save? It hits the post, and we have won the Coup de France. That was a terrible penalty shootout, let's be honest. We didn't play well in the game itself either, but we've got the trophy. We've won the only trophy that in the end we really had a chance of winning this season, so that is great. As the players go up there, look, it wasn't great, let's be frank. It was blooming awful, but we've won the penalty shootout, and it will be Ricky Puig lifting the trophy up. Will he be here next season? We'll see. I don't know if he'll be a regular starter. If he is anyway, because we've got some money to spend. In fact, when we qualified for the Champions League, we've already been given our transfer budget now, so we can show you guys that after this. There's the good old cartwheel from Gordon. Looking even smoother on this computer, I must say. And we've got our win. Not how we wanted to win. We wanted to do it a bit more comprehensively. You look at the stats, we had more shots, but not enough on target compared to what Lyon were able to do with their fewer shots. Similar amount of half chances. They hit the woodwork. Overall, their chances were probably better than ours, but Gordon producing some big saves both in-game and in the penalty shootout. And the final one, of course, hit the post from Sunkal. The final 4 penalties all missing. Not great from professional footballers, you have to say, but we don't care. We've got our trophy for the year. We'll tell them to enjoy these moments. I won't say that they played well because I'm not a liar. And I don't think anyone thought that game was great, to be honest. But we've got our trophy for the year. And we do the double, having won the Trophée des Champions at the start of the season as well. So I suppose we did the double. It's a bit of a funny double, isn't it? But we'll take it. And we lift the Coup de France. Now, here's this knobhead who really doesn't like me. And the fact that we've beaten him in a penalty shootout and probably the game they had the biggest chance of winning against us makes me exceptionally happy. He's been having a go at me every time we've played him this year. And hopefully you get fired, mate. You're like old Alvaro Hernandez back in Colombia. I really do not like you. Kamara, very minor injury. We can deal with that. We get 3.75 million. The board are happy with me. All good. As you can see, 3 wins in a row now. So we are making this competition our own. And that is very good to see. So I don't think anything's happened in League On. In the meantime, I still don't think we're going to be doing anything in terms of winning that title. I think I'm going to have to play what we do in the next episode just by what happens over the next few games. So, if we start to get into an actual serious chance of winning the title, we'll come back for the last game at Amiens. Otherwise, I think we'll just be back in the next episode doing an end-of-season review because there wouldn't be much point showing you guys a game when we're only going to be finishing second no matter what. So, there could be a game in tomorrow's episode. There might not be. It all depends on whether PSG slip up a little bit more. You can see the gap's closed, but they've got that game in hand. If they win that, it's probably not going to fall our way. And they've got Reims coming up, who, to be fair, are in 6th, but it is a home game for PSG, so you would expect them to win. But it isn't completely over, but it's very close to being over. So we'll see what the situation is going into the final couple of days of the season. More importantly, the final day of the season for recording this episode for you guys tomorrow. If we have a chance, we'll put the game in. If we don't, we'll just do the end-of-season review and sort of indicate where we'll be improving the team next season because that's our transfer budget, 172 million. That's what it is at the moment. It's not going to change, to be frank. It shouldn't, but we'll see. They might add a little bit because we're in the Champions League. I'm not sure. They actually gave that to us once we qualified for the Champions League, so they obviously don't expect us to be winning the title. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given us this transfer budget already, but we've got 172 million, albeit some of that will be detracted because we did get Marcus Llorente on a pre-contract. I had a little play with the wages and the overall transfer budget just to see how much that affects it. It's actually not too much considering how big our transfer budget is. And at the very worst, he's going to be a very good occasional starter for us. And it might mean that the likes of Ricky Puig are going to exit the first team. There's another player in midfield I'm looking to bring in as well. That's an area I think we can improve. If we just look at the tactic that we generally use for this first team, I think we're pretty good. You could put Sevillano at centre-back, and we'd be spending a lot of money to go wing back in, and we won't be able to afford that, I feel. So I think midfield's probably the area we'll be looking to improve, but that is something we can also go over in tomorrow's episode. But if you did enjoy that rather dull 80 minutes, but then a bit more excitement and extra time, and the penalty shootout where we won the Coup de France final, then please do leave a thumbs up down below. And if you are enjoying the content here on the channel, then please do also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. It is greatly appreciated. So thank you for watching. You keep on keeping on, and I'll see you for tomorrow's episode. Cheers.